Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I am here to share 20 amazing Black women that I follow on Instagram that inspire me every single day. I am here to celebrate them and share with you why I love them and hopefully give you some inspiration and some new accounts to go follow. So first up on the list is Courtney from colormecourtney. I just love looking at her page. Let's be honest. I love bright colors and I love the vibe and the happiness that she brings off. On her stories, she is always talking about being positive and being happy and just focusing on what you have, and as well as helping others. She is such a proponent of doing good things for other people, and I just adore her. She also lives in New York, and I secretly hope that we could run into each other on the street one day, and I love seeing all the places that she takes pictures. She takes beautiful pictures. Her quality is astounding, and every time I see her pop up in my feed or in my stories, I know that I'm gonna end up smiling. All right, next up is Stephanie. Her handle is yoursweetestlifewithstephaniej, and she is also focused on goals, and that is one of the reasons that I love her. She also has a very aesthetically pleasing feed with her color scheme and her graphics, but I love reading her captions. She always has great tips and advice in her captions, and I love her simple but practical advice that she gives. She also has a podcast that's on my list of podcasts to listen to. But again, one of those accounts that when one of her posts pops up in my feed, I am always so excited to click read more and read what she has to say. All right, next up is Les. Her account is balencedles, and I just kind of want to be her. I started following her because I was looking for more health and wellness accounts to follow, and she just has this amazing focus on doing what's best for your body overall, mind, body, all of the things, and she focuses a lot on self-care and health and wellness being about taking care of yourself. And that is one of those mindset shifts as you're working through a health and wellness journey that is so valuable and so important. And that's why I love following her, because she always brings me back and reminds me of that. All right, next up is somebody I also want to secretly or not so secretly be friends with, who lives here in New York, and that is Tazi. And I follow her for her memory keeping and scrapbooking guidance. She also has a YouTube channel that I love to watch, and again, I think that we would be friends. She is a Enneagram type 3, 30-year-old living in New York and with cats. Like, I just feel like we're on the same wavelength, and I just love her personality and her creativity. I don't get sick of seeing her posts because I just get these amazing ideas and all of this inspiration. And she does all kinds of crafts. It's not even just memory keeping. She's gotten into knitting and just all kinds of other things. And she always jokes about the fact that she's a small New York City apartment and where is she putting all of this stuff? But I love her energy. All right, next up is somebody you have probably heard me mention before, and that is Berry, and she is my go-to person on Instagram for all things period related. I said it, we're mostly women here, and she is my go-to person for learning about how to manage my period better and how to manage my life and my goals within that. She talks all about optimizing your schedule based on your cycle and how valuable that is. Have I done a good job of implementing her teachings? No. But have I signed up for her course because I want to? Absolutely, because I think that she just has so much knowledge, and I also just admire her so much as somebody who went after what she wanted. She was working in a corporate job that she didn't like, and she went after it and created her own business, and I just love supporting her. All right, next up is The Organized Money. This is for those of you with financial goals. If you are looking for practical, actionable tips on organizing your money, that's her handle. I highly recommend following her. She's also a planner girl, so she gets it. She's all about pen and paper and organizing things like that, which sometimes I struggle with because I budget digitally, but I still love following her. Okay, the next account is for those of you like me who love a good inspirational quote, and this is Faith from Fleurdelisspeaks, and all she does is post quotes that she writes herself in her own handwriting and takes a picture of and shares it. And it's just always the most inspirational thing. It always is exactly what I need in that moment. I don't know how she reads my mind, but I absolutely love when her stuff pops up into my feed. And I know that this is one that a lot of people share all over the place, and so I know that she's been getting a lot of love. But in case you hadn't heard about her, I wanted to make sure that I mentioned her because she is one of my favorite accounts on Instagram. All right, next up is somebody that I actually met in person about this time last year. I was invited to go to a product launch for an Olay body wash. I don't know how I got on this list, But somehow I got invited to this event, and I met this woman named Dana, who her account is focused all about skincare. And so, I mean, it made sense that she was invited. Again, I don't know how I ended up there, but I was so thankful because I came away with a new friend and a new follow. Like, we had planned to like get together, but then of course everything shut down and we never ended up making it happen. But I love following her. If you are looking to up your skincare game and to learn more about what order you should do things in, what products you should be using, she tries all kinds of different products. She figures out what works best for different types of skin, and I just love following her. She does follow her on Instagram, but a lot of her amazing content is actually over on her blog. But that's also why I love following her on Instagram, is because she will tell me when she has a new blog post, and if it's a topic that I'm really interested in, I can go read it. So if you're working on upping your skincare game, I highly recommend Dana. All right, I don't follow too many kind of strictly fashion, and I actually don't think that this next person is also strictly fashion anymore. I actually found her because I was looking for tips about Instagram, and she had done a post about that, and that is Amanda from Sequinsandsales. And that's why I started following her. I kept following her because she had beautiful fashion pictures. I stayed and fell in love with her because of her stories. Isn't that always the case? Like, their aesthetics are beautiful and their content is fantastic, but their stories, or you get to know them and fall in love with them as a person, that's where the magic is. What I love, she is unafraid to be herself. She is herself in stories. She will come on with weird faces and just like, it's just the best. And so while I do still love her beautiful pictures on her feed, I am really here for her stories. All right, raise your hand if you have fallen down the Enneagram rabbit hole and you follow every Enneagram account that you can get your hands on Instagram, and you especially look for your own, and then you like always reshare it to your stories. Just me. This next account is the Blackenneagram, and I love her style. I love the topics that she chooses. Every time she does it, I feel like that's me. I relate 100%, and I love her vibe overall. So if you're looking for another Enneagram account, especially one that I feel like does very thoughtful posts, like all of her content it's not, don't get me wrong, the ones that are like, oh, this TV show, you know, blah, blah, these characters, like, yeah, that's fun. But what I love about hers is that it really helps me learn about me and about my other friends and family who are different Enneagram types. It's really a lot more educational on the Enneagram as opposed to kind of just the ones that are for fun, if that makes sense. All right, next up is a woman that I follow who inspires me to just be the best version of me, and that is Coach Colleen. And I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. I hope it's Colleen. I just, every time I see something from her, I feel way better and way more confident. I feel like if you have a goal that is working on your confidence and your self-worth and your self-love, you should 100% go follow her. That she is all about lifting women up and helping you realize that you are 100% worthy exactly the way that you are. All right, next up is somebody that, again, I started following for the content, but ended up falling in love with her in stories, and now, you know, I'm invested in her as a person, and that is Dynasty. And she is all about racial equity. So she helps companies, she's a consultant, and helps big companies with their racial equity issues, for lack of a better word, because that is the situation. And I started following her, and I still do follow her for her practical tips and advice as it pertains to racial equity. That is something that is still an incredibly important thing that I am working on every single day. And this is one of the accounts that every time she posts, I read every single word and take it to heart and really make sure that I am doing what I can to implement what she taught in that post. And that is incredibly important and 100% the reason why you should go follow her. I think you'll also fall in love with her like I did. And she recently got engaged, and I can't wait to follow her journey with that. And again, she is just one of those lights on my Instagram feed that whenever I see something from her, I get really excited. All right, next up is a woman who is crushing the Reels game. That is how I found her. She popped up in my Reels, and I immediately started following her. And now I want more from her. I can't wait until she posts another one. And that is Lucretia, and her account is therapyislight. And she is talking all about mental health. And her reels, while funny, are also incredibly helpful and practical if that is an area that you're working on, your mental health. That is what she's focused on. She's also really focused on working on the inequities in the mental health space. And she also just makes me laugh. I love her reels. If you go, what I would tell you to do right now is go to Instagram and just go to her reels and just watch all of them. All right, next up is a friend of mine that you've probably heard me talk about before, and that is Carrie from Karirobertscoaching. This is a woman that I met through another mastermind that we are both a part of, and we just immediately clicked and started chatting, and her focus is side hustle coaching and time management. So if that is something that you struggle with, especially, I know a lot of you have side businesses, even if it's not something that you're looking to grow to a full-time job, but you have an Etsy shop, you have a YouTube channel, I highly recommend following Carrie. She also did an Instagram takeover on my stories a few months ago. It's saved in my IGTV if you want to go check that out to get to know her a little bit. She does a lot of her like backstory, who she is, where does she work, where does she live, all of those kinds of things if you want to get to know her a little bit more before you start following her. All right, next up is another financial account. If you are working on those finances, I highly recommend following She's Fit Financially. What I love about her approach to finances is she talks a lot about mindset and the shifts that you have to make within yourself to help work on your finances, because you can only do so much like action steps, but there's a lot of internal work that has to be done to help you get into a better mindset financially. And she talks a lot about abundance and we can have what we want. She paid off a ton of debt. She talks about that a lot. I love her aesthetic as well. Again, practical tips and a lot of focus on mindset work. All right, next up is Tiffanyima. I think I'm saying her last name right. If I'm not, it doesn't matter. I am obsessed with her. She is all about body positivity, and it is wellness and health, but it is also about loving your body exactly where it is right in this moment. And I love that. I love her in stories. I love her in reels. Just everything. She always makes me feel so good about myself when I watch something that she does. And you can just see the confidence that she has in herself, and it just makes me want to be a more confident person. So if that is something that you are working on, that confidence, that body positivity, whether you're on a wellness journey or not, but if body positivity is something that you love to see in your feed, go follow her. All right, next up is andrearanaej, and she is a mix of things. So I originally started following her because she does talk about food and health and wellness, but she also does a lot of just general mindset work and general positivity and growth mindset and thinking about things differently. And I just, again, with the wisdom, every time she posts something, I'm just like, yes. Yeah, I needed that. I needed to hear that. And so if you are looking for some of those just like posts, you know, those posts that you see that you're just like, yes, that, and you save the quote, and you screenshot it, you share it with a friend, and it's just those things that you needed to hear and you didn't know you needed to hear it until you read it on Instagram. That is what her account is all about. All right, next up is a woman I have mentioned on Instagram before, and that is Vivian, or Viv. She is a ball of energy and a ball of truth. She tells it like it is. She is very frank and very amazing. I don't have a better word to describe her. I found her through the content planner. So she lives, Kat from the content planner, she lives in the same place and is like real life friends with Kat. And so I started following her because Kat shared something of hers. This was years ago. And I just adore her. She recently, her stories have been all about her school's homeschooling adventures, or, you know, virtual schooling adventures. But her focus is about helping entrepreneurs and business owners succeed. And just again, with the mental shifts and the focus that business owners need to work on, and knowing what you're worth and getting what you're worth and working hard towards that. And again, especially if you're a business owner, but anybody who just needs some laughs about virtual schooling, that's right now where we're at, because that's her life. She's another one of those people that she brings the value in YouTube videos and Instagram posts, but on her stories, she is herself. She talks about her plants today. She was talking about hiding Reese's from her child because she didn't want to share. All right, next up is another one if you are a business owner trying to get better with Instagram, and that is Natasha from Shinewithnatasha. It's weird to say because she just changed her name, her Instagram handle name. She originally had a different name for her business and she switched it over because she wanted it to be more about her. She wanted her name to be in the handle. So she changed her handle. She is all about Instagram video. So reels, stories, tips, all kinds of things related to video on Instagram, and also just general business tips. Like, I just like following her as seeing somebody who is growing a business and all the aspects of that and some of the behind the scenes. She's been decorating her office, and I like that aspect of it as well. And obviously all of the practical tips are helpful too. All right, last but certainly not least, these were in no particular order, I should have said that at the beginning, and that is christinajonesphoto. And I started following her, I think it was a business friend of mine used her for her brand photography, and I just immediately fell in love with her style. I'm never gonna be able, never say never. She lives in Florida, so the likelihood that I'm ever gonna be able to use her for photography is probably never gonna happen, but I just love her style. And she also will give some tips and advice too as well for brand photography. And so I just like following her to be able to get ideas for myself. So when I see a post that she does and I'm like, oh, I would like a photo like that, I take a screenshot of it or I save it. So that's one of the main reasons that I follow her, but she does also give some practical tips and advice too. So if you're a business and you're eventually gonna get some brand photography, especially if you're in the Florida area, or if you're just looking for some pretty photos in your feed, I would recommend following her. All right, and then I have one bonus account, which is not an actual, well, there's gonna be a person that runs the account, but it's not a person's account. It is just a bonus account that I would recommend you following to support and cheer on more Black women-owned businesses, and that is called buyfromablackwoman. This account posts all kinds of amazing resources that is dedicated to sharing companies and organizations and products that were created or owned by a Black woman. So this is just a bonus number 21 account that I recommend you follow if you are looking to celebrate and lift up some more Black women-owned businesses. Even just talking about all of those amazing women got me pumped and excited and motivated to continue on with my day. Let us know down in the comments if there are any amazing Black women that you follow on Instagram that you would recommend that we follow. There are a ton of amazing Black planner women, and maybe that's a separate video. There were just so many, narrowing it down to 20 would have been really tough, and I really wanted to focus on accounts that are related to other goals that you might be working on. I think we're all pretty good at planning at this point, but let us know down in the comments if you have any other accounts that you recommend. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday focused on helping you achieve your goals. Thank you so much for watching. Happy planning. That is one of those mindset shifts. But have I signed up for her? But in case you hadn't heard from her, like in life, in real person, in life friends, really?